So hello guys, so in this video we're going to look at how to Dockerize a Django project using Next.js. So let's get right into it. So the first requirement for this video will be to have Python installed in your machine. I'm going to use Python version 3.9 and Node.js. I'll be using 16.17. That will be my version. You can even use the 18 version. You need to have Docker installed in your machine to run Docker commands. I'll be writing all my code on VS Code, and then we'll be using the Django framework, Next.js for the front end, and this will be the GitHub code repo where you can refer. By the time you watch the video, the code will be uploaded. So now, let's get right into it. I've opened an empty folder in VS Code. So now let's go to the terminal. So I'm gonna make their apps. And now apps. So I'm gonna cd into apps ls. First I'll just create a virtual environment. Python 3.9. So this will be my version. So Python 3.9 -m, it will be virtual env period. And now source bin / activate to activated. For Windows it will be for \scripts / activate. You don't need to have that source. So and now what I'll do is I'll initialize poetry. I'll be using poetry. You can use whatever you want. So I've initialized poetry. So poetry add, I'll be using Django version 3.2 less than 3.3. I'll be using the Django version between 3.2 and 3.3 because the Django version 3.2 is the LTS. So I'll be using that. So once it's installed, I'll have Django-admin. So I'll cd into apps and hit ls. There's nothing. So over here I'll create Django admin start. I'll call it backend. And now apps backend. So I'll rename this to web as of now. So and now this will be my Django project. And now if I cd into web, and now if I hit python manage.py run server, and now I go to localhost. I see my Django app is perfectly working. And now what I need to do is I need to configure various stuffs for it to use Docker. So first thing is I'll create a scripts folder inside web, new folder scripts. It will be a scripts, and then I'll create a new file, and that will be the file will be collect static.sh. that will be one file, and then the other file will be create superuser.sh, and the other file will be entry point.sh, and the other file will be migrations.sh. So these are the 4 files we'll be using, and I'll create another folder inside apps known as Docker. So inside Docker it will be a new folder web, and inside web it will have Docker file. And now inside Docker new folder www, it will have a Docker file. And now inside Docker another folder nginx, so nginx will have another Docker file, and then its config file will come here. So so let me go to the terminal, and now what I do is I'll start another app. Is start app. I'll call it custom commands because we need to run to create a super user. So this file, this is just to run certain commands. To run certain commands which will create the super user. So hit manage, MENT, it will be management, init.py to make it as a module, and a new folder that will be commands. So inside commands that will be another init.py, and inside commands it will be superuser.py. So now we are going to create a custom command to create a super user. So from Django dot, it will be core dot management dot base, import base command, and it will be command error. Okay, so and now from Django dot from contrib dot auth, it will be import, and then from decouple COU import config. So we haven't installed decouple, so poetry add, it will be python decouple. So let it add. So and now user is equal to get user model, and now class base command, base command. Okay, so it is helping me. I'm not going to do like this. Django super user, Django super user email. Okay, so this is actually correct. So I'll cast all those things to string. So there is an inbuilt function called cast, which will, so this looks perfect. So it will be user, so it will be email is Django super user email username, and what I'll do is user.set password, and then this is user is equal to, and now user is super user is staff, and then I'll do even is admin is underscore admin is true, and now I'll hit save, and now super user created successfully. So we have created one part of this. So the super user command will run, and now let's create a Docker file. Boom, it's for web, and so it will be from, it will be Python, since I'm going to use 3 9.13 hyphen slim. It's just slim. And now I'll hit run. Yeah, so I'll make a python 3 hyphen m. It will be venv inside OTP and then venv. Okay, and now what I'll do is I'll create cmd. It will be in double quotes, make dir. Yeah, it's gonna be app/web. Okay, so and now it will be working dir is app.web, and now it's going to be copy dot to it's copy dot slash app/web to dot. Yeah, and now where it comes the important part. So we are going to run OTP venv bin pip. Now first we'll upgrade pip. Yeah, so pip. Yeah, so pip install pip dash upgrade, and then you put comma. Yeah, pip install dash r requirements. It will be, instead of requirements, it will be /app/web/requirements.txt, and you will run chmod, and you will run chmod plus x app slash, it will be scripts scripts/entry point.sh, and you will run scripts slash. So whatever scripts we created here, so first one will be, instead of entry collect static, and now cr create superuser.sh, and now chmod plus x, it will be migrations.sh, and now instead of run server, it will be collect static, collect static.sh. and what are you going to do? You are going to run, so bash is going to be bash, and then you are going to run. First we will run the migrations. It's going to be migrations, and then we'll run the collect static, and after you run the collect static, we are going to run the create super user. And at the last it will be a cmd. So we are going to run that one, app script slash. So this is the, okay, so here I made a mistake. It's pointing me out. So this is the Docker file, and now we should fill all these things. So let's go to collect static.sh for a second. So it will be hash hash, and then it's a bang slash, it's going to be bin slash bash. Okay, so it's going to be OTP slash venv slash bin slash python, it's going to be manage.py. So Yeah, so it's going to be manage.py collect static no input cl, yeah, clear. Okay, so this is going to be for collect static. For create super user is going to be manage.py super user.py. You don't need to give anything over here. And now let's go to migrations. Migrations is going to be manage.py. First we'll make migrations, and then no input, and then migrate no input. Okay, so all these things are working perfectly. And now let's go to the entry point.sh. so that is the very important file. So it's going to be, instead of Python we are going to use gunicorn, gunicorn. Okay, so in gunicorn dash it's going to be a worker tmp dir. Okay, and then it's going to be /dev/shm. okay, and now let's go to backend.wsgi colon, it's going to be application, and then I'll bind it to, give it a colon, it's going to be 0.0.0.0, and then give it a dollar, and then it's going to be $$ app port, app_port. I think those things you actually don't need to give. This is more than enough. And over here it's going to be app port is going to be $port. If you are not giving any of the port, it will run on port 8000 by default. If the port is mentioned, it will take that port and run. Okay, so everything is working right now. So let's go to settings, and then static, in settings, into our installed apps for our custom custom commands. Okay, and now so I should install white noise for Django to serve the static files which are there in admin. So let's go to middlewares, yeah, it will be white noise. Okay, white noise dot middleware dot white noise middleware. Yeah, I think this looks okay. Yeah, and now static root is basedir dot static. Okay, I'll call it static. I'll call it static. Yeah, okay, so that's all. This is our current backend structure, your backend folder, your custom commands, and then your scripts, and then your manage.py. Okay, so this will be inside your web. And now we have to create a www.next.js. okay, so what I'll do is I'll go to npx cd ls. So npx create next dash app, it's going to be www//ts. yeah, so it's going to ask, I'll just say yes. So once it's done, okay, I'll configure ESLint, and then src directory is going to be yes, experimental app directory no, import alias src, I'll just give it. Okay, so at src /star. yeah, okay, so yeah, So once it's done, I'll get right back to you. Okay, so it's actually created. So let's go into www.ls. So I'll remove the .git, and now if I hit npm run dev, okay, it starts up pretty fast. So I'll go to I'll go to I'll go to localhost port 3000. Okay, so this is my new next starter template. Okay, but I'm going to use we're going to use pm2. So I'll create a new file, server.js. So inside server.js, I'll just go to Chrome and now hit next custom server, and I'll go to this page and I'll just copy their starter template. So with this we are going to do some tweaks, and yes, so this will be our create, and then all these things I'll comment it for now, and then I don't need any of these. Okay, so like I'm not even going to use these. So if path name, I don't need this, but I need this one. This looks pretty nice. Okay, so now I'll go to an index dot. So now I'll create a constants / index.js. So const dot env equal to require dot env. So I'll going to be dot it's going to be so dot env dot config. So it will load up all the environment variables. Const port, it's going to be process.env. So by default it will run on port 3000. I'll convert it into a number, and now const host name, the local host will be a 000. So and now it's going to be const dev, that is correct, and now const protocol is equal to, if it's dev it will be http dev, so it will be modules.export port host name. So now if I go to my server.js, and now if I go to my server.js, const host name is equal to require dot constants dot hostname dot port dot dev, and then it's going to be const protocol. So all these things are done, and then I'll just remove all these things, and it will be ready on this. It's going to be a $, and now it's going to be protocol, and then colon / host name, and then port. So everything is working. So Now let me go to my package.json. So in package.json, what you can do is I'll stop it and then npm I pm2, and then we're going to have .env. So I'll install those two packages. Yeah, so those two packages, like we are going to use the pm2 to run our server.js, and then we can use the .env files. So we are going to use .env, and now npm I nodemon is going to be nodemon save dev. Yeah, so nodemon is like to run the dev server. So now let's go to package.json. It's going to be, I'll call it start dev. It's going to be dev next, and then I'll hit a dev, and then I'll hit nodemon. I don't need any of these. Nodemon server dot, it's going to be server.js, and now it's going to be a start is, it's going to be pm2 start server.js name. Yeah, this is pretty much what I want. I don't need a watch, but okay. And now, yeah, so our front end is pretty much, let's just check it out. So npm run start. Okay, so looks like my npm is working. Yeah, it goes on port. Wait, let's check. Yeah, so if I hit this, yeah, so it's still running. So how to kill it? So npx pm2 kill. I can hit www, it will kill it. Oops, pm2 delete, I'll call it 0. Yeah, it deleted. Yep, I forgot. So now almost all these things are done, and now the Docker file for the web is still, for the www is required. So let's start filling it. So what do we need for that? We need to first import from node. Since we are using node, I'll call it node alpine. Yeah, so now again I'll hit the cmd to, yeah, so it's going to be make dir, it's going to be /app/web. Yeah, and now it's going to be a working dir of that, and now copy. Okay, so GitHub Copilot is helping me, and now npm run install and npm run build, and now expose 3000. I'll expose the port, and now npm run start. Yeah, so I can hit npm start or npm run start, both will work. So, and now, okay, so, and now nginx Dockerfile is only left. So this one I'm just going to copy paste it. So the code, you can find it in the description. Yeah, so this is just a simple nginx config file. So yeah, this is what we'll be using. Yep, so, and now it's the main part to have our docker compose file. So docker compose.yaml. Yeah, so this is the most important file where we'll be writing most of all our services will be, is going to be a version 3.9. yeah, and now it's going to be okay. So I'm not going to use a db for now. Yeah, so I'll just call it web. That will be my first service. So it will be, I'll give it a container name. So my container name will also be a web. So and I'll give it a build. Yeah, and then inside a build I'll give it a context of dot, and then Dockerfile is, I'll point it to the Dockerfile. So it's there in apps slash, yeah, in apps slash docker slash, it's there inside web, and then slash Dockerfile. Yeah, and now I'll give it a volume. Volumes is static. So I'll give it a space, and then it's going to be static colon, and then it's going to be slash apps slash web slash static. Yeah, and now media, you can include it, but I'm not going to include it. And now ports is going to be, I'm going to map port 8000 to 8000, and now it's going to be env file is going to be dot slash apps slash web slash dot env file. So that's where I'm going to point it to. Yeah, and now my next service will be my front end, my Next.js app. So it will be the same. Okay, so volumes, yeah, for volumes I'm not going to give it a static. I don't want this volume. I want my node modules. It will be in app slash ww slash node modules, and then port I'm going to expose 3000. Yeah, I'm going to use, and then as of now you don't need a env file, you can always specify it over here. And now the next thing is my nginx. So nginx. Yeah, so nginx, it is still the same. And now for volumes it will be, yeah, and then my port 8080. Okay, I can give it a depends on, but I don't want. And at last it will be volumes, it is static, and then node modules, and then all these things I don't want. And yeah, I think everything is correct as of now. Okay, so I didn't create a .env file, and then go to custom commands, management commands, super user, and now these three things are very very important. And .env file, paste it. Yeah, so this I'm going to give it super user password is 123456. Super user name is going to be admin, and then email is going to be admin at admin, not Gmail. I'll give it a fake.com. Yeah, so I think this should be enough, and all the config files are, yeah, all the config files are perfectly there. So the moment of, yeah, so yeah, and now the moment of truth is, yeah, locate where your docker compose.yaml file is, and now hit docker compose, check whether this is working. If I hit like this, I'll get like that, but for many of the Windows and Mac users, you can use docker space compose, but since I'm using Linux, docker compose up -- build. Yeah, so I can build it and run it, but this will actually build and run it for me. So let's check what's gonna happen. Yeah, so this might take a time. Okay. So this file does not exist. Okay, so it has no requirements.txt file, so that is a problem. So let's fix it. So poetry add WHITENOISE I think I haven't installed white noise, so let me install white noise. So poetry add gunicorn, if I can spell it right, CORN, poetry add white noise and gunicorn. Okay, I made a mistake, so it should be GUN, okay, so POETRY add gunicorn. I think I could spell it correctly. So poetry export, and then file requirements output, then without hashes. So if I go to my apps in the root, I can see this one, but I want to move it inside apps, move, and so inside apps, inside web. And now I think my docker dash compose up. I think now it won't complain, maybe. Let's check. Now copy dot slash app slash okay, so it's going to be apps. Over here I made a mistake, so now go to web, and it's going to be copy dot slash app slash web. So now let me check for the moment of truth. So once it's done, let me see what's going to happen, and it may take some time for the first time since you're doing it. So so once it's done, I'll get back to you. Okay, so it threw an error for me in the create superuser.py. So let's go to web scripts, and then it's create superuser. It is just create superuser, and then I'll just pipe it with the true. This is so that every time I create the same superuser, it will throw an error. So if I pipe it, this is just, it's like OR. So if this is false and true is always true, so it will not break my Dockerfile Docker building process. It will just return a true value. So that's why I'm doing that. And now let's again run it. Let's wait for some time. So it again threw an error. Maybe it looks like a typo. So let's see. In app slash web npm I. Okay, so that will be npm. So I'll just split it, run npm install, and now run npm run build. So it's not web, actually it's www. So I think you should have figured this out by the time you're doing it. Okay, so let's build it again. So let's check for any errors coming or not. Okay, so my front end kind of failed, so let's go to, yeah, my front end is not running, but my backend is running. Yes, my backend is running, but my front end has failed. Okay, so let's go to my let's go to www, and then in package.json it should be pm2 runtime. Yeah, should be pm2, or else you can always google it. So pm2 docker, and then I see a Docker integration, and then it says pm2 app.js. That's all. So it should be pm2 runtime server.js, and then this should solve the problem maybe. So yeah, you can either press Ctrl C 2-3 times, or you can hit docker compose down to bring all the services down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my Python backend, backend settings.py, and I'm going to allow hosts to star, and now set my Django debug to false. Yeah, you can keep that as an environment variable and do, but as of now I'm not going to do that. Yeah, so let it build it, and yeah, I think everything is working perfectly. So at this time everything should run. Okay, so once it's done, I'll get back to you. Okay, so everything is kind of working perfectly. So this is the time to check what's happening. So I'll go to my front end is working now, and now I'll go I'll go to my admin. Okay, so and now I created an admin with password 1234. Okay, I still don't know what password I kept, so just okay, so it's 123456 admin, and now yes, my super user is created. I can access my Django admin, and then my front end is served using nginx, and so yeah, this is what we have done. So like, only thing we have not done is configuring HTTPS, because as of now it's running in HTTP. So if you're going to production, you can use HTTPS, and then we didn't do like deploying it into an AWS or GCP. And next one is configuring domains. So only those three is left, and those, see, if you are able to do till this much, then it's pretty much easy. All those stuffs are just small way across. Yeah, and now a pro tip: you can also create a docker ignore docker ignore, where for example in this case you are copying everything including the node modules, because the node modules you don't need, the node modules, the .next file and all those stuffs you don't need. You can ignore it in the .ignore file. So all this code will be there in my GitHub repo. Yeah, you can either start it or fork it. Yeah, so thank you, and have a nice day.